The New York Times came out with an article that reads, "Men, where have you gone? Please come back." I know some of you guys are all like, who did I ever leave? Nah, no, but seriously, let me read this. Let me continue to read this. "So many men have retreated from intimacy, hiding behind firewalls, filters, curated personas, dabbling, and scrolling. We miss you." And I know some of the reactions. What are you talking about? What I never left. Why, how is it that you miss me? Women, just open your eyes. I'm right in front of you. Apparently, she did open her eyes and realize that men are disappearing from the dating scene. As a matter of fact, not just from the dating scene, but social gatherings, social events, they're just not showing up. And that's what essentially this article is about. Now, I do want to provide a piece of information that I believe is crucial. This author is a female. Her name is Rachel Drucker. And there is another piece of information that I believe you need to know, because I don't want you guys to click on this article and then you guys come across this piece of information and then decide at that very moment that this piece of information drastically influences the way you view this article. So let me provide this piece of information up front. I'm 54. I've been dating since the mid 80s, been married, been a mother, gotten divorced, and had many relationships, long and short. Now, this is why I wanted to present this, because I know some people are going to question that and say, wait, you had that many relationships, long and short. What happened? You had that many relationships. Why didn't any of them work out? Or, or this one, that she's been married, but has gotten divorced. What happened there? Whose fault was it? Was it your fault? Was it the man's fault? Is that why you're still dating since the 80s? So people are going to question this. So I thought that, you need to know this piece of information. That way you guys don't have like that bump in the road when you guys come across this article, or for whatever reason, someone discusses it in the future. So yeah, now let's get into the article. So essentially, I read the entire article, and it's essentially asking for men to make a comeback. Come back. We need you guys. But the problem is that I don't know if we can come back, at least not anytime soon. You see, there are many obstacles that we have to contend with before we can even make a comeback. And believe it or not, a lot of men don't exactly want to make the effort, because they know that when it comes to this market, all the odds are against them. And for many reasons too. I'll provide a couple of reasons, all right? So I have them all written here. Some of the reasons why is because of superficiality, unrealistic expectations, gender roles. You already know that everyone's discussing gender roles. A lot of men are confused as to what they can bring to the table, and then oftentimes they question what women bring to the table. A lot of women, what they feel is that they can make their own money. They're self-sustaining. And so when men come into the equation, they ask, well, what do I do? How do I provide? Now anybody can answer that question and say, oh, well, you could provide emotional support, but is that really all men have to provide? Because believe it or not, yes, emotional support is important, but what about financial support? What if the woman wants to go to a theme park, and the man can't carry his own weight when it comes to the financial resources? What does he do then? Because yes, the woman can potentially pay for his ticket, but ultimately it's going to be a heavy burden eventually down the line if this continues on. So it's questions like that men and women ask, well, how is this relationship going to develop? Now, there are other factors as well, like toxic masculinity, economic and financial pressures, because as you guys know, economic pressures are a real thing, especially financial pressures, because as you hear certain people online, they discuss how hard it is to find a job, and it's very difficult to find a well-paying job. Most jobs don't exactly pay well. So the fact that they have to contend with the idea of looking for a job, then landing a job that barely pays them enough to pay the bills, yeah, I don't think that any man is going to be incentivized to go and look for a mate. Career prioritization. How the fuck do you say that? Fuck, I spelled it incorrectly. Look at this shit. Okay, so I'm here wondering how to spell the word, but I spelled it prioritization when it's supposed to be prioritization. But regardless though, yeah, so career prioritization. Fuck, I can't even say it right anymore. Many men feel the pressure of prioritizing their careers because in this society, as you guys know, if men do not have a career, if they don't have financial resources, they're immediately seen as a loser, as someone that cannot be relied on. And even the older generation, if they find out that their daughter is dating a man who doesn't have any financial resources, they're immediately ostracized from the family. And then they're also looked down as failures. So, of course, some men are going to prioritize their careers, but also because they're just so focused on their career. Perhaps they already made all the money, but because of the habit that they built of just focusing on their career, it's very difficult to take their eyes off this career path. So that's another contending issue. Mental health and social skills. Mental health, as you guys know, we're not faring well when it comes to the health of our mentality. That's another issue. And then of course, social skills. As you guys know, men don't exactly have the social skills to keep up with the social landscape. Women want men to be vulnerable, emotional, to share or communicate, but because men don't exactly have large friend groups, they can't exactly practice those social skills. The manosphere. This one, the manosphere. You can bet your ass that the manosphere definitely has something to do with the vanishing of men in social gatherings. The rhetoric. When you guys go online, you already know, fresh and fit, all these red pillars, all these folks on the red pill, but it doesn't even have to be the red pillars. It could just be women on the other side as well who give terrible advice. They provide terrible advice, and then when men listen to that, they immediately want to pull back and say, if I have to contend with standards like that, then yeah, I might as well just pull back. But when it comes to the manosphere, they also don't provide any help as well, because although they like to claim that they're helping men, the reality is that they're actually providing much more detrimental information by telling men that women only want them for their wallets and nothing else. Yeah, that's going to make men want to pull back because they're looking for something impactful, something that is emotionally tied to some sort of incentive. As you guys know, we came across that post. We came across this tweet here where we saw that this man wanted was establishing a deep connection with this woman who was on a wheelchair. And if you go down below, you can see that there are women here that are complaining about the fact that this man wants a crippled woman, so then the crippled woman doesn't leave. This is the kind of rhetoric that makes men pull back from this scene, because just take a look at this. Weird, since most men abandon their disabled and chronically ill spouses. This is misinformation, right? And then of course it gets community noted, and then if you read the sources down below, it will explain why this is incorrect. But this is what we're talking about when we're talking about why men are pulling back and why they're vanishing, because the online sphere, the online world, it's providing a gateway for these men to leave the dating scene and to leave everything from finding a mate to engaging in social events. So if it's wondering why this is happening, why men are pulling back, it's because of all these reasons, most of these reasons at least. I haven't even gotten through all of them, and of course negative experiences as well. I know that this is personal to me. I've had a lot of women reject me in my life, and it was very difficult to recover from all of that, because I want people to understand one thing. Okay, when it comes to rejection, when it comes to approaching a woman, one of the things that really bothers me is that I'll go on these podcasts and I'll listen to either women or men talk about how men just have to approach women, and rejection is part of the process and it's a manly thing. I really hate when they say this, because holy crap, man, like I really don't think that they've ever approached a woman or whatever, like quote approach. I'm not talking about their friend who has been near them their entire lives. When I have approached women, quote approach women that I don't know, man, dude, it is so unbelievably terrible, because when you get rejected, you have to pick up the pieces. And when I say pieces, I mean there's a lot of obstacles that you have to overcome. Like for instance, the amount of ideas, thoughts that want to flood your mind to reinforce the idea that you're completely undesirable, your confidence, your self-esteem. You have to realign your thoughts, because once you get rejected, these are new bombarding thoughts that are coming into your mind, and they're throwing off who you are as a person. It's really difficult. It really is hard to have to contend with all of that. And you also have to remember that people also have other stressors in life, such as their job, or perhaps they have loved ones. They probably are alone. They have to deal with that when they get home, all of that stuff. And so that's why when I listen to these podcasts and they talk about you have to be a man and approach, it's like, dude, like you're completely negating the entire experience of the male life. Don't do that. Don't do that. So when it comes to the idea or the question, men, where have you gone? that's where we've gone. We've gone because we're just tired of having to deal with all of that, having to pick up the pieces, having to have our self-esteem torn apart through rejection. We're just tired of that, man. And here's the thing. Personally to me, I don't know about anybody else, but personally to me, it's not even that I want to blame women. It's just that it's unfortunate that we live in a society where men are not taught these skills. Men are not taught how to approach someone. Men are not taught any of this stuff. So I understand that it's easy to just blame men, but don't blame us, because we tried. I tried. And I know that a lot of the men who are watching this, I know that they have tried. In order for them to pull back, they have to try in some way. Otherwise, what incentivizes them to pull back? So, yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and share my thoughts on that, because yes, you want us to come back, but there's a lot of issues that we need to contend with that both of us have to deal with, both genders, by the way, men and women, that we both have to deal with this. I'm not saying that we're the prize, but if you want us to make an effort, then please show us that you want to make the effort. I know that this woman, if you take a look down at the bottom, she's saying that she's going to be waiting. And I'm not laughing at the fact that you're gonna sit there, wait for us. Go for it, man. Wait. When I say this, I really mean this. Okay. If you're gonna sit there and wait, that's fine. But just know that we're gonna continue moving forward, all right? And if you sit there behind, if you sit behind waiting for us, we're just gonna continue down the path. Yeah. Anyways, that's really all I wanted to discuss. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think.